I work at a big box store, and I've set up probably 4 or 5 of these Oklahoma Joes. Comes in a box. Everything has to be shipped, so it's all tight together. And this firebox right here obviously is bolted together. If you own one, you know what I'm talking about. And it's got some gaps in it. Some leaks that smoke and heat will vent out of while you're trying to cook. And that's just not efficient for smoking meat. Of course, there's some gaps going in between the chambers. So I'm going to try and seal those up by welding them. The door also has issues. You're going to have to buy some gaskets for that. The lava locks seem to work pretty well. Also, a baffle plate or some sort of tuning plate to keep the heat distribution a little bit more even. And the fire obviously kind of flows through there, so it's just not real efficient. Also the smokestack, a lot of people put the 90-degree angle on it. I'm gonna move it down. We'll see what happens. So we started with grinding out the weld so that we can get this little port that holds the smokestack out, because I wanted to keep it and just maybe move it down 4 or 5 inches or so. So just grinding out that weld, trying not to tear things up too much because it's only 1/8 inch steel, so it's pretty thin. So just trying to be careful as I can. Note to self, don't put wood in between steel.
That's 5.5 from the grade. That's with this though, this kind of grade.
Mm-hmm.
So if we moved it down, five, but you said them rods you got.
Okay, so we'll go down 4.5 and go from there. So we're starting to find the center point for where we're going to put the smokestack. We marked it and tried to get close to the 4.5 inch on the bottom of the smokestack. So it's important that your smoke is exiting just where the meat is, so that way you're not wasting heat. And with the smokestack being up so high, it just seems to vent it out as quickly as possible, which is why most people put the 90-degree angle. So here, Jerry made a little template and trying to get a good circle, a little 3-inch circle that we're gonna cut out and see if we can't use the plasma cutter to make a clean cut. We just don't have a hole saw big enough to do the job here, so we're gonna give it our best shot. I realize that not a lot of people have access to a plasma cutter. My father-in-law luckily has one. And if you did have an opportunity to pay somebody to do some of this welding for you, I think it'd be beneficial just for the sake of heat loss. And, I did do the 90-degree HVAC vent mod originally. I did every mod before we started welding. It just didn't work well for me personally. I realized that a lot of people done it, and again, like I said, maybe not everyone has access to a welder or could pay somebody to do some of this welding, but for me, it was worth it. In case you're wondering, yes, I did do some welding during this video. I am not a good welder, and welding is just one of those things. You can't just start doing it. Well, you can start doing it, but it's not going to go well at first. So it's just one of those things that's going to take practice and a lot of time, because you just have to get like a rhythm going with this. I mean, it can really take a lot of patience, and just something that I have not yet acquired. You can buy a welder on Amazon for like $80, so if it's something that you'd be into, it might be worth it for you, just as a hobby or something like that. But man, my first time did not go well. So, no shame in asking for help. So the cutout that we made, we just used it to fill in the hole from the previous position of the smokestack, and it worked out pretty well. We had to make it fit just a little bit by using a bracing on the back of sorts. Yeah, so here in a second, my father-in-law is going to have his finger too close to that welder. So I did go back and do some grinding to knock down some of the welds and make it as flush as possible to the surface, so that when I paint, it won't be as noticeable. So now the smokestack is almost complete. We still got to weld on the actual stack to that new port. Here's the bracing that we used on the back. And now the heat is exiting at great level. Now on to the firebox. So we're gonna finish welding the firebox for the day and maybe just tack on the smokestack. Still gonna be a little bit more work, but we're getting close. So, I still need to install a baffle plate of some sort and season it, but tune in to the next video.